got bringing Galloway back into the fold. How's he looking?
He's doing really well. I noticed him, I guess it was Wednesday. He was out there running routes with the quarterbacks and very athletic. Obviously, we were really excited about getting him out for spring ball and disappointed when he injured that for him. But it was great to see him out here. He's very fluid, and he's exactly what we kind of thought that we signed. So that's exciting. And I also give him credit for a young guy that's been on the sideline out with an injury for the spring. You know, I like to watch those guys while the plays are going on and all those type of things. And he's been watching and learning, and it's important to him. So at least he's getting something out of being here early. And I'll be excited to see him once we get back from summer.
Except for the spring game, your scrimmages are over. So what is it that you want to work on these next few practices? What do you have a sense of urgency about?
Yeah, we actually do have one more half scrimmage on Monday. So we'll have a half practice, half scrimmage. But, you know, really there's been a lot of good things this spring. I mean, we've gotten a lot of really good work. Just myself and Tony and a few of the other offensive guys. You know, we've been here for, I think Tony and I have been here for about seven springs now. And we're just getting a lot of really good work, good on good versus the defense. I mean, it's a battle every day. And so that's good to see. I think the biggest thing going into the final week is are we going to kind of get over that hump? You know, we've had some really good days, and then we've had some disappointing days, and really just want to see the consistency for the final week of spring practice and finish the right way. And you know, it was a good physical practice today. You know, we got after it pretty good, and the guys laid it on the line, and I was pleased with the effort today by our guys. And you know, I want to see us finish the right way next week.
How much does a spring game usually tell you about certain players?
Yeah, it's good. You know, obviously scrimmages are better than a practice as far as getting guys off the field, but now you add all the fans in and kind of a game atmosphere, really the closest thing to a game without playing in the fall. And you know, it's kind of that next level for all of our guys. We got a lot of guys that are being put in new positions, especially some of these young guys, the true freshmen that just got here, and some of the guys that were going to be sophomores next year. This would be a good opportunity to see them. You know, I want to see a guy like Amari Rogers out there catching punts, you know, in that situation. He's done a really good job. Him and DK have done a really good job in practice, done a good job in scrimmages. So now in a spring game, we're going to have obviously national TVs there, and I think we're going to have a great crowd. You know, it'd be great to kind of see how those guys respond, and really one of the last dress rehearsals before we kick it off next fall.
There was maybe one concern or area of issue heading into the spring, might be offensive line. How do you feel like that unit has come along this spring?
Yeah, that really wasn't a concern for me. I think we're excited about our guys. I think our guys did a good job last year. We lost two guards, so I guess more than concern, it was just questions about who those guys were going to be, how are they going to mesh, you know. But a guy like John Simpson's a guy that's really been coming on. He's played a lot of ball. I mean, you know, last year we played 8 offensive linemen just about every game. I mean, that's almost unheard of. But I think that helps you whenever you lose a guy. Now a guy like John coming in, he's played a lot of ball. And then, you know, on the right side, you know, we've had several guys that have kind of moved over there. Sean Pollard's a guy that's done a really good job in there. Obviously, he's played a lot of ball for us. But, you know, our offense line's done a good job. Obviously, they're like every position. You know, they got good plays and bad plays. But really, it's just the cohesiveness of having new guys in there. How do they communicate? I mean, we're seeing every front that's ever been drawn up in the history of college football this spring. You know, so I mean, I'm not exaggerating. Every single front that you can possibly do, we've seen this spring. And so our guys have to kind of learn by fire. But, you know, we don't complain about it. We don't make excuses. You know, it's really good for us, because when we get ready to go tee it up and play in the fall, you know, we're not going to see that many in each game. But I feel like our guys I've seen growth and progress at that position, and you know, I think they'll do a good job whenever we get out there in the spring game.
bear front?
Yeah, that's right. Even the bear front and all the. Yeah, we've seen it all. We're coming up with new names.
Has Trevion continued to show consistency since we talked to you last couple weeks ago?
Yeah, he has. He made probably the best catch of spring 2018 he made today in one-on-ones. Just a big time diving catch with a DB right there and finished the catch. He's done very well, and he's a guy that he's moved around. He's played several different positions. Obviously, he's got some younger guys that are coming, but his experience, he's been around here for 5 years, and his experience, his work ethic, I think after probably about his second year, he started to get serious about it, very focused. I've never seen him as focused as he is right now, and he knows what he wants to do. He knows he can help us, and he's proving every day and every practice to the coaches and his teammates that he's ready to have a bigger role this year.
Has there started to be any separation with some of those guys at receiver, maybe a top 3 or a top 5 that are kind of standing out?
Yeah, I would say Amari Rogers is a guy that's just been on fire this spring, done a really good job. He's very businesslike. He practices like a pro. What I mean by that is a guy that he doesn't look like a college guy out there. He's a 28, 29-year-old guy that's going about his business, very serious about it. It's very important. He's disappointed if he doesn't do it exactly right. He's back in there in the film, watching the film after practice, and just trying to be a master of the details. And so I've been really pleased with him. Hunter's worked extremely hard. Done a really good job. Trevion is in that conversation, and I'm really pleased. TJ Chase is another guy that really pleased with his progress. I think he's a guy a lot of people don't know about. He's going to surprise a lot of people, in my opinion, and have a chance to be an excellent player for us here. And then that battle going on at the 9-man position with Trevion, T, and DeAndre Overton. Sometimes as coaches, you're kind of waiting for one of those guys just to separate, but really what they're doing is they're just kind of moving up together. And it's fun for me as a coach because I remember with DeAndre Hopkins what that process looked like from his freshman year to his sophomore year to his junior year. And I remember Mike Williams from his freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, that progress. And I'm watching it every single day, with T and Overton, and they're really kind of moving together at the same time, and that's a good thing. We want as many guys that can help us as we can have, and obviously we're going to play a lot of guys, but those guys have improved. They're not where we need to be, whenever we kick it off in September, but they're heading that direction, and I've been pleased with their spring so far. And then also Cornell Powell's a guy that shows up and makes some big plays.
It's not your position group. Has it been fun to watch these quarterbacks battle it out all spring?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we've got 4 guys that can spin it. I think Coach Sweeney's made the comment, and I second his comment. We can win with any 4 of those guys. And, I've been here going on 10 years, and there's some years where we had 1.5 quarterbacks, and you're hoping your starter doesn't get hurt. And, and we've been very fortunate that we didn't have some injuries at quarterback. And, this is the first time that we've had multiple guys, not just depth, but guys that truly can go out and win for you. And just to watch the way that they've competed with each other, the attitude that they have. I mean, it's a healthy competition. One of them goes in there and throws a big strike for a touchdown. The next one comes in and he's trying to match it. And that really just kind of models what we want our program to be about. With best being the standard and guys just being focused on being their best. And just like, we talk all the time about, we're not worried about an opponent. We're not measuring ourselves against an opponent. We're measuring ourselves against being the best version, the best team we can be. And it's the same attitude when these guys go out there and compete. I don't want these quarterbacks comparing themselves and trying to measure themselves to the other guy. Yeah, we just want them to continue to work and be the very best version of themselves. And that's what I'm seeing out here. So that's probably one of the things I'm most excited about for the spring game next week is to stay on the sidelines and watch those guys compete because it's going to be a lot of fun.
I know going into the spring there was talk about trying to increase the tempo some. Where do you feel like you guys are with that?
Yeah, it's been at times been really good. We had a tempo period today, and we had a rapid fire period. The biggest thing with tempo is it has to be, every position group has to be on board with that. If the wideouts aren't on board and everybody else is, we're waiting on the wideout. So it takes all 11 guys to be committed to that. And I think we've made a bigger emphasis this spring than maybe where we were at times last year. And I've seen progress with that. Sometimes with the spring game, you got to be a little bit careful because you're divided up on two sidelines and those type of things. You may have a wideout that's playing every play for his team the whole day or something. But I've been pleased overall with where we are. The biggest thing is going to be for those guys to continue it this summer whenever they're out there doing skills and drills and we're not here. And then obviously in fall camp, getting ready for September.
Coach got tight end with Milan and Garrett coming back, and you got Brady Galloway who's been cut loose now to practice. Are you seeing some strides there, making progress from what you had there last year?
Yeah, I think we talked about it the other day. Probably the biggest